big man who'll be making every effort to control the glass and make some big plays under the rim. Then it's LeBron James, and it's Davis in at the four-man position. And looking at the Nets, Kyrie Irving is out there with Curry. It's his first official game as a starter. And it's Durant, and it's Simmons in at the four.
Well, for the Lakers last season, it seemed there was so much turmoil throughout the year. Injuries, coaching-wise, changes in the offense. And they never were able to really gain any momentum. They made a decent run at the end of the season, but that didn't carry over into the postseason when they were swept by the Lakers in the first round.
There's Beverly. Pass to Reeves. Kicks to LeBron. Clock at 4. 18 feet out. Rebounded by the Nets. I think going back to D'Antoni and the Lakers, that Howard and Gasol were made more than a little disgruntled with how Clark he made use or didn't make use of them offensively.
You know, the Lakers brought in D'Antoni to try to emphasize Steve Nash and his role in the offense, but I think they neglected how that would affect the seven-footers. Didn't do a really good job of incorporating those guys, and when you've got Kobe getting his shots, that's a tough dynamic to work through.
That's good.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
Outside Irving. Pass to Durant. It's rebounded by Beverly.
Awesome defense. I mean, he'll hit those unless you're right in his grill.
LeBron James on the wing. Another miss by LeBron.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those. You know, really hard to try to compare Kevin Durant to somebody. I mean, it might come from who he says he modeled his game after. In an interview last season, he said that it was Larry Bird who shaped how he played growing up as a youngster.
Use that.
LeBron with it. Passes it to Beverly. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. The first quarter of action, 2 minutes in. One thing Durant shared in common with Bird, a deadly outside shot, even under pressure.
Yeah, I love his unflappable.
And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. Irving kicks to Durant. Back to Irving.
Come to me.
Here's the floater. Here's Beverly. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. It's going to be on Kyrie Irving.
It's really all about effort with him, guys. You watch him fly after these loose balls, laying out any chance he's got at an opportunity for a steal or a deflection. He's really something to watch.
And he is also so good at getting his hands on the ball without fouling. When an opposing player is on his way to the hoop, that's a real knack. Excellent hand-eye coordination makes that possible for him. You know, as great as 2012 was for the Nets, in many ways, they really came up short on their last game of that calendar year. In 2012, the New Year's Eve matchup against the Spurs, the Nets only scored 5 points in the third quarter of that contest.
So he gets them both. And Clark, you were talking about the Nets. They went from looking like a team that could compete for a title to a team that, while still talented, Steve, in the lap for the playoffs, was a little closer to the middle of the pack than they thought.
With the hot start they got off to, I think it was just a matter of time before they hit a cold stretch. And never fun to be held to just 5 points in a quarter. And that game had a lot of Nets fans wondering how the rest of the season would go. But, hey, they got it back together and still finished off pretty well.
Durant dishes to Irving. And Curry, here we go. And Irving gets it to go on the assist by Curry. Irving's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Doris Burke has some information for us.
Hey, Kevin. I spoke with the Lakers head coach. He said that the key to the game will be how well they defend Kyrie Irving, adding he's shown himself to be one of the premier point guards in the game already. Whether it's passing, shooting, or penetrating, we need our guys in the backcourt to really get up into him, and our bigs need to be ready to bring help. Guys, you can bet that Irving will be their focus defensively.
All right, Doris, thanks.
His presence is very comforting for this team. He's kind of a fallback option for them anytime they need it.
And there's the pass to Beverly. LeBron James on the wing. Shot clock at 6. He feeds it to Davis. No good off the back of the rim.
They had a defender draped all over. Not really the best shot there.
Well, not the shots you hope for when it's well contested like that.
Curry passes to Irving. It's Durant on the wing. Here's Claxton. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Well, let's start with the positive and the Lakers postseason. They did make it. That's all that can be said is their dramatic passing of Utah and the Rockets down the stretch to take the 7th seed was really the lone highlight of what would be a quick exit from the playoffs for them.
That free throw, no good. Going back to the Lakers, swept in 4 straight by the Spurs, and none of the games really that close. Spurs, Steve, just dominated them, and every sense of the word, injuries didn't help either.
No, they didn't help, but the Spurs just outplayed whoever was on the floor for LA. And I think a lot of people thought the Spurs would be a good first-round matchup for the Lakers, but that notion was quickly squashed. San Antonio just totally dominant.
Now here is Davis. Makes it off the glass. Beverly's got 6 points. Brooklyn trailing. Durant kicks to Irving. Irving double team. Here's Claxton. Cannot hit. Great D that time from Davis. Lakers have gone 50% from the field to this point, 4 of 8. Here's Beverly, covered by Irving. Gets it to go. 8 points for him. Brooklyn's gone 3 of 5 from three-point land so far in the ballgame. Oh, trying for it. Out of bounds, the Lakers will take possession. Los Angeles leading by 3. LeBron kicks to Beverly. Back to LeBron. Lets it go. And it's blocked. It's going to be out of bounds. Los Angeles will retain possession. Here's the pass to Davis. Beverly. Nice passing here by Los Angeles. The 3.
He's been anything but his usual self this quarter. It's actually been ugly to see.
He's just been ice cold. I mean, he cannot find the range.
Now the feed to Durant. Simmons. Soft touch off the glass. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles. Lakers have gone just a shade under 50% from the field. 5 of 11.
Get it going. Come back. Go
now LeBron. Dishes to Beverly. No good on the 3.
A clear look at the hoop. He doesn't miss many of those.
He kicks it to Curry.
Get through that.
Back to Irving. And a great assist by Curry as that one goes in. And it's 8 points for Kyrie Irving. LA's gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. Feeds to Beverly. All the dish to Beverly. 4 on the clock. Los Angeles with another miss.
He's one guy the defense is not afraid to leave open from that range, and for obvious reasons. Kevin Durant is one of the most laid-back and easygoing guys you'll meet in the NBA, but don't be fooled. He's as fiery a competitor on the court as anyone else in the league. He's a superstar because he has the talent, but also the drive.
Brooklyn's gone 3 of 5 from three-point land so far in the ballgame. Here's Simmons. Back to Durant.
No.
Claxton defended by Bryant. And the shot is good. And I think when you talk about the drive of Kevin Durant, Clark, it all comes from his love of the game.
I love watching Kevin Durant play. He is such a special talent, and you can see the inherent joy that he has in playing the game. It's obvious he's a big-time gym rat, and he just loves to work on the game and continue to refine his skills. He's a joy to watch.
Now, here is Irving.
Durant.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
You look at Irving and how much success he's had early in his NBA career. I think the only thing standing between him and true stardom right now is health. He's just had a lot of nagging injuries. He would love to put together an injury-free season.
Free throw, good, Irving. And for Kyrie Irving, his first All-Star appearance last season, and just Clark his second year.
Well, you look at his age and what he's doing. Really a skilled scorer and playmaker already with size and athleticism. I like his savvy too, Kevin. He's very slick in how he gets around the basketball court. This kid has a chance to perhaps be an MVP caliber player in a few more years.
Gotta get it. Quick out. Big go. Let's get it. Pitch here.
That's also good. So he hits both free throws.
Now, guys, now with the Nets and the Knicks both playing in New York, it's just added to the rivalry that was already pretty strong to start with. But it's interesting, if you're from Brooklyn and you grew up with the Knicks, you didn't cheer for him out. It's probably divided some households, a lot of rivalries in families alone. It should be interesting as this team takes further root in Brooklyn.
And here's Mills following the 3 from Walker. Irving dishes to Mills. He passes to Warren. Kicks it to Harris. For 3, just 5 on the clock. And the shot is good. Harris has got himself on the board with 3 there. And back to this Knicks-Nets rivalry. The Knicks are considered the more established dominant team. This decade, the Nets actually have a better ball percentage. And it will come as a surprise to some. They've beaten the Knicks when you look at games head-to-head. And Clark have had more playoff success.
Yeah, when you crunch the numbers, clearly the Nets are considered the upstarts, but the fact remains over the last decade, as you said, Kevin, they've been the better team. And I think whoever you root for, with both of them playing at a high level, it's a great time to be a Hoops fan in New York.
Well said, it is. Here's Brown. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Great job. Taking right at the defense. I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah, he left them no choice but to foul there.
And what's your take, guys, on the hustle stats for the Lakers?
Boy, their frenetic defense has really been impressive, putting a lot of pressure on ball handlers and turning them over.
They've gotten their fair share of points off turnovers so far tonight, too.
And the first one goes.
You know, last season, an NBA owner, and we won't name who it was, mentioned that the Lakers could potentially amnesty Kobe Bryant. Now, he knew that he is still a top shooting guard and plays like a superstar, but his contract really is up there at almost $30 million this season.
Thomas checked in for Kyrie Irving. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Well, we know the Lakers have got, Steve, a lot of issues with their camp. It's only going to get worse this year and continue to spiral in the wrong direction. There's even been talk among the writers that cover the Lakers about the possibility of amnestying Kobe Bryant.
I can't imagine. I mean, he's played his entire 17-year career here in LA, 5 championships, one of the all-time great Lakers. But it's a cap question. They want to spend all that money for a player who's going to miss a lot of the regular season with that Achilles injury.
Now Westbrook after the missed 3 from Thomas. Thomas with the block. And it's Harris off the drive. uses the glass to finish the layup. Harris has got 5 points so far.
Not much the defense can do once he gets to the bucket.
Westbrook kicks to Jones. Anderson. He dishes it to Walker. From deep, gets it to go. Walker's got his third bucket of the night.
Third three in a row right there.
Adjustment time for the defense, guys.
Pass to Warren. He feeds it to Morris. Passes to Warren. Dishes it to Harris. The Nets working the ball around now. Pass to Thomas. He kicks it to Mills. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Mills has got his first basket of the night.
Little touch of class there, guys. The end of that play with the finger roll.
Oh, and there's the alley-oop. And Jones slams it in.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
Here's Thomas after the made shot from Jones. The pass to Harris.
Get it.
The three-pointer, no good. Lakers leading by 5. Westbrook with it. Now guarded by Warren. Anderson passes to Westbrook. Brown outside. The feed to Jones. Back to Brown. There's the dish to Westbrook. Brown to the inside. And Jones slams it in.
What a beautiful pass to set that one up.
The pass might have been pretty, but the finish, I thought, Clark, angry.
That's a heck of a combination. Pretty pass and an angry punch.
I would call it an irate finish even.
Here's Mills. The layup off target.
The defense was ready for him that time, and they had to be. He is so powerful in the lane.
And the officials call goaltending, so they'll award the basket.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
And that call gets an instant reaction from the fans.
Well, that's a whistle that did not go over very well.
Here's Mills. From deep three-point range, a free-flowing first quarter. Great scoring through 1. Lakers lead by 9. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Brooklyn. And we welcome you back to more NBA action. Players looking hydrated and plenty of Gatorade to help them get their job done tonight. And what stands out to you from the Lakers in this one?
Big boost from their bench there, guys, in that first quarter. They did a nice job coming in and really giving this team a lift.
Yeah, it's a nice attribute to have. Firepower coming off the pine early. That's good stuff.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Gentlemen, as you know, Kevin Durant is a real gym rat, a guy who just loves the game of basketball, and he enjoys studying the greats. Maybe his favorite? Durant smiled. Larry Bird is a guy I like watching. I watch film on him all the time. I like his approach to the game, his competitiveness, how low maintenance he was. He played hard. He played for the love of the game, and that's what I've got. Guys, one of the best small forwards in league history. Not a bad role model.
No doubt about that. Thank you, Doris. So here's Westbrook. After the made shot from Thomas. Feeds it to Walker. Back to Westbrook. Outside, Walker. Feeds him in there. And they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltending.
He almost got to that shot in time. Down.
The fans don't like that call one bit.
Well, the officials got an earful as a result.
Pippen's checked in for Russell Westbrook. Nets trail by 9. Thomas goes in, rejected by Christie. Left side, Brown. The shot's good on the assist by Pippen.
And that's 10 straight points in the paint. I mean, defensively, the wind has just been knocked out of their sails.
Need to get more bodies committed down low.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
You know, the new home for the Nets last season as they moved over from New Jersey to Brooklyn, and They must have loved their new digs because they were fantastic in front of this Brooklyn crowd last season. 26-15 here.
And here in the second with about a minute and a half gone by. Thomas off a pick from Morris. Harris outside. Kicks it to Morris. With his first shot attempt, hits the bucket. Morris has got his first points of the night. Clark, you're right. The Nets are making a good impression here, as you were saying. Always good for a team to open up a new arena with a strong record and all.
And what a great stadium, guys. The Barclays Center, one of the best looking floors in the NBA. Great design all around. And even on the outside, when you walk up to the arena here in Brooklyn, it's just a beautiful atmosphere.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding. They are piling up the assists.
Harris misses.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those boards.
Any extra possessions that you can get, either through steals or rebounds, are so critical in this game.
You know, offensively last season, guys, the Lakers just never seemed to be able to get out of their own way. I mean, they had the worst turnover ratio of the ball, and even when they got up a shot, a lot of them were questionable shots. They shot the third most threes in the league, but were in the bottom half of the league in percentage.
And going back to the Lakers' offensive troubles last season, the worst free throw percentage, Steve, in the NBA.
And obviously that's attributed directly to Dwight Howard. I mean, because the Lakers also led the league in free throw attempts. So Howard was getting hacked. He really couldn't get going. He made about half his free throws for the season. And that just really carried over into the team's performance.
Both good from the line that time.
You know, a lot of things went right for the Nets last season, but one area they struggled in was handling the Western Conference teams. In 30 chances against teams out west, they only won 13 times. That's his first triple of the game. It was a dry first half for him from long range.
He dishes it to Walker. There's the triple. The Lakers rebound. Here's Brown. Lays it up and banks it in. Brown's got 4 points in the quarter.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
And back to the Nets against the West. That number not really what you want if you plan on winning a top division seed like the Atlantic.
Well, that was the difference last year in terms of who won the Atlantic. The Knicks had a great record against the West, and the Nets did not. So I think to get a high seed, to win their division, the Nets have to have a better record against Western Conference teams this year.
It's stolen by Brown. 3 on 3. Here's Walker. That is good. Walker's got 16 points.
Yeah, and he's one player who doesn't need a lot of space to get to the basket. He's really crafty. He can blast his way straight through traffic. He's really strong.
And every team needs a player like him, a guy who contributes each and every night by doing just the little things and doing them well, like getting on the floor for loose balls.
The Nets shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game. And that one misses. Anthony Davis, he's checked in for Jones.
I got shooter. Here we go. We're going to push it on the miss. We're going to push it on the miss. Rebound. I got it. Box here. Box here.
That one is no good.
It's a +5 advantage for them in the rebounding category after that board.
Very steady work they've been doing on the interior, no question. And that's, I think, the main reason they have this lead.
Really not hard to see why they're giving up points on this run. I mean, they've just given them too many looks inside.
Yeah, I mean, they're just getting pounded in there. The defense not offering much resistance. They've got to force the ball back out to the perimeter.
That's stolen by Brown. takes it into the teeth of the D and converts the layup. Brown's got 6 points in the quarter.
It took him a little while to get into the flow of this game, but now he's definitely found his stride and rhythm.
Timeout called the Nets.
Well, just too many easy buckets, in and around the paint. So he wants to put a stop to it. This timeout is going to be used to try to tighten up the defense.
Guys at this level, they won't miss often if you keep giving up looks inside, and they're paying for that right now. Good timeout here.
Bryant is checked in for the Lakers. It's the Nets now, trailing by 19. To the middle. It's stolen by Bryant. Here's Christie. LeBron outside. LeBron gets the steal. It's LeBron with the drive. Can't get it to go.
This is not the slam dunk contest. You don't get do-over. You got to finish the job. Much has been made about the show LeBron puts out during games, but he also puts on a spectacle in his pregame routine. Last season, he and others started pulling out all the stops and dunking in the pregame warm-up in an effort to break a sweat.
Here's LeBron. Following the bucket by the Nets. Jacks up a three. Brooklyn with the rebound.